Hello everybody! It is time for my second quarter reading statistics. I did a first quarter reading statistics video back in April about the first 3 months of the year, and I'm going to try to follow that same format here so I can kind of do some comparisons. So this video is just going to be my reading stats for April, May, and June, though when I talk about my goals at the end of this video, those will be year-to-date numbers. In April, May, and June, I read 74 books by 66 unique authors or editors. This is up from the first quarter of the year when I read 66 books by 57 unique authors or editors. Of the 66 unique authors that I read books by, 33 were men, which is up from 25 in the previous quarter, 28 were by women, which is up from 26, and 5 were by both, which I think were mostly editorial teams. I had noticed in the past couple of months that I seem to be reading more books by men than by women, and I'm not like really concerned about this because I seem to pretty naturally have a relatively even 50-50 split, but I've definitely put more books by women on my get to right now pile. Next up are sources, or where I got the books that I read. Like last time, I'm really only looking at one comparison: free sources versus paid sources. In the second quarter, my free sources were borrowed from other people, interlibrary loan, local libraries, and Overdrive. My paid sources were my Audible subscription, my magazine subscriptions, and books that I owned that I paid for. Now in the second quarter, these categories were exactly even. I read 37 books from free sources and 37 books from paid sources, which is pretty awesome because last time this was 71-29 with a lot of the books I was reading coming from free sources, and I think I said last time that I wanted this to be a bit more even, and I got exactly equal numbers. I don't know how that happened. And now on to genres. In April, May, and June, I read 18 science fiction novels, 15 comics, 9 nonfiction books, 8 fantasy novels, 4 novellas, and 20 other things that were 3 or less in these various categories: collections, literary fiction, magazines, memoir, middle grade fiction, historical fiction, mysteries, and biographies. I didn't look this up, but I think that I've been reading a wider range of genres in the past couple of months, which makes me very happy. I do mainly focus on science fiction. I want that to be the #1 thing that I'm reading, but all this other stuff is great too. And now on to my 3 goals for the year. The first one I didn't talk about last time in my stats video because I hadn't started it yet, and that is my Arthur C. Clarke Award project. I did a kickoff video for that if you want to know more, but basically this year I want to read all of the winners of the Arthur C. Clarke Award, and my original TBR was 23 books. I have read 5 of them so far this year, so I have 18 more to go, possibly 19 depending on the 2017 winner. Since I did my last stats video, the nominees for this year have been announced, and I have read 4 of the 6, but I'm betting that Underground Railroad wins, and I'll have to read that, so it'll probably be 19 a bit later in the year. This is still a doable project, but I need to get on it more. I just haven't been reading the books, I haven't been thinking about them that much, so I'm not failing yet. I can still pull this off, but if I want to, I will need to really buckle down on it for a little while. My second goal for this year is that I want 10% of the books that I read to be translated, and so far I'm doing very well at this. By the second quarter of the year, I had read 140 books, and exactly 14 or 10% of them had been translated, and I think I'm going to be continuing with this. It hasn't been as much of a stretch as I thought it was going to be. I think I've said before that the biggest challenge for me in reading more diverse books and translated books is that access for me is difficult, but I seem to have overcome that hurdle by just doing my homework and my research in advance, and it is paying off. I'm really happy doing this, and I've been enjoying doing it a lot. And my third and final goal this year is that less than 60% of the books I read should be by American authors. And so far, I seem to be winning at this. My number is currently at 52%, which is so much better than I thought I was going to be at this point. It probably helps that I have been doing my in translation project at the same time, so automatically 10% of what I'm reading is, you know, books by non-American authors, and people from non-English speaking countries at that. However, I'm not really concerned with the mix of countries. I'm just mostly concerned with reducing the number of books that I'm reading by American authors. I'm pretty sure that the second most frequent country on my list is like the UK, Canada, Australia. I'm fine with that for now. Maybe next year I'll make this more ambitious and challenging, but for right now, I'm just doing so much better than I was in previous years, and that makes me really happy. That is it for my second quarter reading statistics. I'm very happy with this overall. I think my reading has been going pretty well, and since I kind of shifted my attitude about what I'm going to pick up next, what I'm genuinely excited to read back in April when I made that video about it, I've been enjoying things a lot more, and I'm really happy that I did it. The one thing that I would like to do more of by the time the year ends is to read more short fiction. I still haven't read pretty much any 2017 short stories. I've mostly been reading back issues of magazines from 2016, which is a little alarming to me because I want to be prepared for the next awards season. The past couple of years I've been really well prepared to nominate in the short fiction categories in the Hugo Awards, and it's easier and I think more fun to have my own picks and nominate in those categories without relying so much on, well, other people's recommendation lists. But we will see how I feel. I've been interested in reading other things rather than short stories, and I can't force it if I don't feel like it. On the other hand, I haven't really made time for it. It's very likely that if I just clear my schedule, clear my books I'm reading, and read some short stories, I will get back that excitement and just read a whole bunch, but we will see. We will see. So that is it for my reading statistics here. If you want to share some of your own statistics or anything you've noticed about your reading this year, please share it down below with me and others in the comments, and I will talk to you again in my next video, and until then, bye.